Warning: this podcast discusses paranormal activity and other topics some might find disturbing. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, everybody. I am your host, Ashley, and welcome to Ghost Gossip. Hello, Jenny.
Hi, Ashley.
How are you?
I'm fabulous. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so glad you're here. We've been talking about this since October.
We definitely have. Busy lives.
Very busy lives with kids and blended families, and here we are in the guest room studio.
Yeah.
Isn't it great?
It is. It's so cozy and comforting in here.
It's very cozy. So everybody, Jenny is my personal friend. I have known her since 4th or 5th grade.
4th grade, I think.
Bethel Elementary. Mm-hmm. And, that's probably just 5 years because we are young and very immature.
Exactly.
But more like 30 years. Shh. And she now works with me, and it has been such a cool experience catching up with somebody that knew me way back when, and I knew her way back when, and together we are a lot of fun.
I agree. I think we just kind of picked up where we left off, though. There wasn't, we were talking about that today.
We were talking about that today. We just picked up and took off and
just kept going.
Like we have seen each other every day for 30 years.
Yes.
So,
it's fabulous.
It is fabulous. But Jenny's here because I'm not the only weird one in my office anymore.
Yes.
I'm the weird girl that's like, you want to talk about ghosts?
And I'm like, please come sit in my chair.
Let's talk about the house. And it's so nice because some people I work with, I'm pretty sure I freak them out a little bit every once in a while because I'm like, guys, you won't believe what happened in my house last night. And then Jenny comes in and she's like, ooh, what happened?
I'm like, please give me all the cold chills.
Give me all the chill bumps. So I took her for a tour of the house. And for me, it was validating because I live in a house full of people that typically don't say anything. And here I am like, I hate this room. I hate this room. I hate this room. I love this room. I hate this room. And she walks in and all the rooms that I hate.
Without you telling me that you hated them first.
Yes.
So that's the key point, I think, is that it was, hey, here's my house. Just walk around and tell me what you feel. And we had similar feelings.
We did. When we walked into Wayne's room, both of us, it was heavy.
Yeah, it cut me off at the knees, literally. Like it was definitely pushing me back. It was heavy.
Yeah, he didn't want us in there. He never wants me in there.
No, 2 women in his room at the same time?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Wayne.
But when we left, the feeling went away. It's like a weird sensation.
Yep.
And see, Daniel doesn't get that. He doesn't sleep well in there, but he can sleep anywhere. But he doesn't sleep well in there long term, but he doesn't feel what I feel in there.
Yeah, it was instant. It was actually before I even walked into the door. Mm-hmm. Or through the door,
rather. And then the room over our bedroom.
Oh, yeah, that was I immediately walked upstairs and pointed to the room and looked at Ashley and I said, "What's that room?" Mm-hmm. And I was probably 10 feet from it?
10, 15 feet, yeah.
I have horrible...
It's okay.
I can't measure.
I can't either. I don't wear my glasses, okay?
I at least have my glasses on.
You have your glasses on.
I can see you.
I can't see anything, especially when I'm at work. I'm like, I'm not cutting my eyes at you. I just can't see you because I don't wear my glasses. So Jenny has listened to my podcast, and we talk about it, and she loves it. I am going to say she loves it.
I do love it.
Yeah, she's my ghost gossip pal.
Number one fan.
Yes. Other than my mom. My mom listens.
Oh, I mean, your mom automatically gets that title.
I know, but even my husband doesn't listen.
I'll take 1.5.
You're 1.5, yeah. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. She's going to be like, you shouted me out. Yes, I did. But Jenny is here today because we have not only crazy energy together, she is sensitive like I am to certain things. And it's funny because both of us are sensitive in different ways. But when we get together, weird things happen.
And the workplace has not been the same.
No, the workplace has not been the same since she started. And it's funny because there's things that happen at the workplace that I don't talk about. And then she comes up to me and goes, I think our lobby's haunted. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, I see somebody sitting in that chair. And I went, well, I do too, but I've never said anything to anybody.
Yes. Yes. And then I went as far as waiting until everybody left because I'm typically the last one to leave, or one of the last ones to leave. And so I told Ashley that once everybody left, I was going to go out there and switch the chairs around to see if it was just the chairs, because there's 2 chairs out there, but you only see them in 1 chair. Mm-hmm. And we switched the chairs, and it was good for like, what, a day?
A day and a half.
And then I walked by to her desk, and I said, somebody's sitting in the chair again.
Yep.
And it was, yeah.
But it's the one in front of the computer. It's always the one in front of the computer.
Yes.
So she moved the chair, the taller chair, away from the computer. Mm-hmm. And then put the shorter chair in front of the computer. Usually it was the taller chair, and it's like maybe it's just the chair with the computer making it look a certain kind of way. But nope, sure enough, I came out of my little work area and I did a double take. And then yesterday I looked at her and I was like, Jenny, is there somebody sitting in that chair? Because I think I'm going crazy because I see a woman sitting in that chair. And she goes, yes.
Oh, and that's when there really was.
There was really somebody sitting in that chair.
And that is why people look at us like we're crazy at work.
And we talk about this openly. We don't hide it.
No.
And we don't care.
No, there's really no need to.
We're too old to care.
Sometimes we even try to invite other people into it and see if they see people sitting in the chair. I tried that the other day. It didn't go over well.
Who'd you ask?
Our male.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah. He don't say anything.
I know. I figured. But I thought it was worth a try.
It was. Well, because he came up when we were talking about it.
Yes.
And that's what it was.
Yes. And then he immediately just turned around and walked away because I think we frighten him in more ways than one.
I think when we're together, we really scare him, which we should.
But there's like the electronic issues and
oh, geez, yeah,
camera issues, phone issues.
Speaking of electronical issues or electronical,
I said it, and then you said it.
I did. I'm going to leave that in. Electronic issues. What did I tell you before I left work today?
Oh, so we were all excited and kind of getting giddy because we didn't get to see each other a lot at work today, and so Ashley came and like slipped me the address of our secret location, and we and she's like, so I almost want to bet that my computer and things are going to go crazy because everything's been kind of calm in the house, and then last night things started getting spicy again, and it was spicy.
That's so a good spicy. Word. Spicy.
And so then she texted me, and as I was leaving the office, and she's like, "Hey, guess what? Look at this video. It's my computer messing up, just like I said it was going to happen." So it was what? Computer issues, mic issues, all the things?
My computer would not pick up my microphones. And then my microphone, that microphone that you're using, after I got the recording to work, that microphone quit working.
See, Wayne, we got it working.
But yeah, I told her, I was like, I just have this feeling. And what I've been trying to do when I have these, not intrusive thoughts, but these thoughts just kind of pop up in my head, I've been trying to say them out loud. So that way, if it happens, I'm not the only one saying, see, kind of like that day that I felt somebody standing outside my house and I had a friend over and it was her husband. And I had no idea he was out there until he texted her and said, I'm outside Ashley's house. And I was like, holy shit.
Yep. That was a cold chill day. That was a crazy story.
Yes.
I remember we talked on that one for a while.
I couldn't believe it because I looked at the back door because I was half expecting somebody to walk in my back door. And I remember looking at Daniel, like kind of like looking at the door and looking at him. And then it was within minutes, he said, I'm outside Ashley's house.
Yep.
And
you came into work slightly.
I texted you too.
Yeah, you were startled. Mm-hmm. You did text me.
I did.
I do remember that, yes, because I was like, how did I know about it before the workday? And you had texted me and you were a little shooken up over that one.
Yeah, because this man was standing outside my house.
Yeah.
And I felt it. It's weird. Y'all, I get weird things like that every once in a while.
But I also think it was very strange today talking about how, like, we typically, like, I feel like you have cold chills. You do, you know, like you have the ear thing. And for me, and for me, it's typically like this weird feeling I get in the back of my neck. And it's like this instant need to grab the back of my neck. And I'll get cold chills as well. But today it was different. And
when you came in the house?
Yeah. Well, when I went to the rooms, it was like this pressure against my legs. And it was like right dead center in the middle of my stomach was like this little like whirly ball. Like it was like it was just like this like twisting, like turning knot that just developed right in the middle of my stomach. And then I said something to Ashley. I was like, I'm feeling it in my legs. And I was like, you know, you immediately were like, yeah, me too. Like that's it's really strange that you said that because I feel it there too.
I felt it in my legs and from my elbows down to my hands because my arms were next to my sides. And then I told you today that I felt the other day when I was spinning in the house because I have really bad anxiety and we've been having some hard times over here. And I felt like somebody stood in front of me and put their hands on my shoulders and just kind of squeezed me, but not in a bad way, but just kind of like settle down. And I didn't. But I felt it. My arms were tingling. It was really strange. And I told Daniel, like, I stopped mid-spin and was like, I feel like somebody's hands are on me. It's just really weird. You just never know what's going to happen in this house. It's been very quiet.
But you at least took the thought into consideration.
I did. I did stop for a second, and then I started to spin more. And when I say spin, I don't mean like I'm spinning in circles. I mean, I could. I might. That sounds a lot more fun than what I do.
Yes.
But I pace. I pace the house.
Yes.
And I'm all over the place. And my husband's just gotten very used to the pacing. And he just lets me go until I wear myself out.
He's a patient man.
He is with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what Jenny was saying was the house has been very quiet. And I've been keeping a record. And it hasn't really nothing has happened since the beginning of February. And then last night, our son smelled smoke in his bedroom. And then he heard something fall or smack or something knock really hard. And he could not find it anywhere. He turned his light on. He looked around. And he could not find whatever fell. And then this morning, I was in the guest room, which is right next to our bedroom. And I heard footsteps. But there's nothing above this room. You can look up. It's a cathedral ceiling. But the room over our bedroom is our daughter's room. And she was not awake. But I heard some walking. I heard footsteps. And you have to walk pretty hard to hear footsteps up there. So it's something. It's almost like the house knew, like somebody's coming over and we don't want them here. It's another woman.
Yep.
It's another woman.
Yep. I'm here. I made it.
She's back. But Jenny's here not just to talk about my creepy house, but you know that I love hearing stories. And she has stories.
I do have stories.
She does. And I've been begging for stories, and I've only gotten a few. And now I have somebody here.
Plural.
Yay. So we're going to talk about Jenny's stories. And I cannot wait because I think I know some of them.
I think you do. I think you're familiar with some of them. We've kind of dabbled on, and you know, dabbled. That's a good word.
It used to be my photography business name.
It did. Maybe that's where it came from.
Dabble photography.
Subconsciously thinking about it.
I did your pictures.
You did. She did beautiful pictures of me. They were fabulous.
They were fabulous.
But yeah, so I think we need to start first because I told you, I was like, I feel like we need to start with our story first.
Where it began.
Yes, because part of me feels like that is where both you and I potentially developed whatever we have or whatever this is.
Yes, the weird connection we have.
Yes, yeah. And you've spoken about it a few times on previous episodes. So now you've got two of the, what do we say, five?
Yeah.
You know, here. Five.
Yep. 2 of the 5 girls that participated in the Ouija board.
Yes. We were, it was a birthday party. Didn't we say it was a birthday party?
It was Amy's birthday party.
That's right. That's right. Yep. And we decided that we started with light as a feather. We did the light as a feather.
Yep.
And then we were like, that's not cool enough.
That's not fun.
Yeah. So Amy brings out this Ouija board.
The Ouija board.
Yeah. Which, none of us really, I don't think, knew what it was.
We didn't do it right.
No.
We screwed it up.
We screwed it all up.
We left that door open.
We did.
We sure did. We didn't say goodbye.
But
we said, get that shit away from us.
I think it was like day 3 at the office. Ashley came up to me. She was like, we need to talk. I need clarification. It may have even been day 2. I think it was day 2 because day 1 I had my tours and stuff.
Yes, we were busy.
And so it was like as soon as we got into a
because I had that interview with David and we talked about it. And so it was.
And you came to me because we were talking about that interview.
Yep.
And you were like, what happened? What do you remember happening?
Yeah, because my memory, I thought I made it up.
Yes. And there are a few splotchy spots, blurry spots, but I do remember we had ventured, we had gotten it out. We'd set everything up.
We were upstairs at the top of the stairs.
And I don't recall what we asked it.
Me neither.
I think it was just a matter of we asked some silly preteen question. And it moved. We did the typical what you would see in a movie of oh my God, Ashley, stop moving it.
Jenny, I didn't move it. You stop moving it.
Oh, Amy, you're playing tricks on us.
Christy, stop touching it.
Yeah,
that's
yes.
Yeah.
And so, which by the way, Christy remembers none of it.
She has blocked that out.
She has blocked it out, and that is so her. And so, then once we realized and we validated that no one was
touching
it
or moving it, I should say. We touched it, but we don't move it.
And everybody was equally as freaked out, we threw it in either the refrigerator or the freezer.
Because that'll do it. Let's freeze the bastard.
Let's freeze, you bloody demon.
Get in the freezer where you belong.
I have no idea. It didn't fit.
No.
We had to move and
was it a side-by-side
it was a
freezer?
Side-by-side freezer
Of course
refrigerator.
It didn't fit.
So we threw it in there and then we squished it, but we got it to shut. And it shut all the way. And I remember we were so terrified as a group that all 5 of us were pushing against this freezer door and squealing. And the door flung, it pushed us back.
It pushed open.
It pushed open.
Yeah, we wanted out. He didn't like the cold.
No.
Not Elsa.
Did not.
The cold bothered him anyway. I call it a him because I'm assuming.
And now he can't let it go. But
I teed that up and you knocked it out of the park. I love it.
Shazam.
This is what we do at work.
It really is. It's makes for very, very productive and entertaining work days.
It sure does.
So it pushed back. And I would totally be interested in talking to anyone else that was there to see if they experienced the same thing. But I do know that one of the other 3 has completely blacked it out and does not remember anything from that day.
And I still talk to the other Jenny, and she has never brought it up.
No.
And I don't talk to Amy anymore, but
yes,
because I had this memory of playing the Ouija board up at the top of the stairs.
Yep.
And then Amy started acting funny.
Yes.
And I thought she was messing with us. And I thought I made that up in my mind. Didn't she lay down? I'm not sure if that's when we were doing stiff as a feather, light as a board.
No, you're right. That was, sorry, I think I was slightly traumatized from the flailing open of the freezer door.
The aggressive freezer opening.
Yes. So Amy was acting slightly peculiar
Weird.
after, and it was almost like she was just kind of there, but
zoned out.
Just completely out of it. I'm getting cold chills right now. She was completely out of it. And then, like, she just kind of, like, slumped over.
Yep,
she was very, just kind of, like,
I remember her
limp.
laying at the top of the stairs.
And then she laid down. And was that when we got freaked out? No, because she was downstairs with us.
She was downstairs with us, but see, I have the memory backwards. We did Ouija board first and then light as a feather. And that's when she started acting really funny. But it was so long ago. It was fifth grade. We were, 10, 11, something like that.
Yeah.
And we're not almost 40.
No,
not at all.
I don't know who said that.
That was a long time ago. That's 30 years ago. So we're trying to pull these memories out. We're building. So it could have been, I can't remember what we did first, but I remember her acting so weird.
Yes.
And it was scary. And that's when we were done.
Yeah. And then, and I do remember it was a sleepover.
It was a sleepover.
And so, like, the rest of the night was very
tense.
It was very tense. And everybody kept looking at each other and nobody wanted to go to sleep.
Did we sleep?
And I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think I vaguely remember us having a discussion about, like, taking shifts. Like, we were going to.
Because that'll do it. That'll do it.
One of us, freeze the demon and then put a 10-year-old in charge. So
no wonder I'm an insomniac now.
Hey.
Cursed. I probably took the late shift.
We're diagnosing and solving problems over here today.
We're trauma bonding and solving our issues.
But yeah, it was. But then, like, the weird part was after that night, like, nobody ever spoke of it again.
No, we never talked about it.
We never talked about it again. Nope. And, like, I had asked Christy one time, and she was like, nope, don't remember it.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm like, okay. Yeah. And then Ashley and I, because we're weirdos, and this is, very exciting discussions.
Oh, we love it.
Yeah, we absolutely love it. So, of course, we talk about it. And that's one of the first conversations we had whenever we reconnected. So,
yes. Reunited.
Yes.
So that was where it all began.
It is.
And I started having my experiences at 13.
Yes, which was just a few years after that. Mm-hmm. And I was, let's see. Oh, crap. Uh-oh. I guess I just had like a little bit of an epiphany that I think I was middle school.
Yeah.
When the Lily situation started happening.
Tell us about Lily.
So Lily, excuse me.
You're good.
Lily she's like a friendly ghost.
Like Casper, but a female.
She's my friendly ghost. So when the house that I grew up in and went to the majority of elementary school, middle school, and high school, it was a 2-story house, but it was like split level.
I remember.
Or not split level, sorry. It was like the full top floor, and then it was like a half finished basement.
Is that the one I ran into the fireplace with the sleeping bag on my head, or is that Christy's house?
That was Christy's grandma's house. Yes, we still talk about that and try to figure out who actually put the hole in the wall. But
I ran into the fireplace.
Yeah,
knocked myself out.
Christy blames me that I put the hole in the wall, but I think it was her butt. Literally, her butt went through the wall. Her donkey. And so, Lily was.
If she listens to this, she's going to be like, Jenny,
love you,
miss you.
I know, you need to come and have lunch with me and Ashley one day.
Hello.
She bailed on me. She already sent me a text message. She's bailing on me tomorrow.
And
you'll be in court.
I'll be in court.
I'm so lonely.
I was lonely today.
You were lonely today. I missed you greatly today.
I missed you too.
So Lily, I did not know it was Lily to begin with. I guess when I was in middle school, I always had this fear, and my family used to always make fun of me, but I always had this fear that, like, of running up my stairs. And I know that that's like a childhood fear or whatever, but like I would run up the stairs and I would always feel like somebody was chasing me.
I'm pretty sure that's how my kids feel in this house.
Yeah. And so I'm like, golly. And so my family used to laugh at me because, like, something is chasing me up the stairs. And that's how I used to come home from school. And now Christy does remember this, is she would come over to my house and Lily, or whatever electrical issues we had at the time, would like to play, because you explain it away, would like to, would always like she would walk down the hallway, and we had one of those hallways where the light switch, you had a light switch on each end of the hallway.
Right.
And so, but it controlled the same light.
Right.
So she
A
would
three-way.
Yes. Is that what they're called?
Or a two-way. One of the two.
I don't know.
Three-way, two-way,
It's
whatever.
a way. it's a way to cut on the light.
It is a way to cut on the light.
So,
and one is up and one is
and
down,
one is down.
all
Yes.
the time.
And it messes with my OCD because I want them both to be facing the same direction, but that's besides the point. So, so she would walk down the hallway, and like she would cut the light on at one end of the hallway, and then we would walk down the hallway, and halfway down the light would cut off.
Lily or Christy?
Christy.
Okay.
Or me, or my brother.
Somebody.
Or whatever. Like somebody, and it would just randomly switch off. And you would think, oh, it's just a short, it's just, whatever.
I'm very familiar with electrical issues.
But you would look at the other light switch, and it would be flipped. Mm-hmm. So it was like physically flipping.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so that was one instance. And then we would have the whole like toilet flushing, things like that, which people are like, oh, that's your plumbing. That's your plumbing.
No.
Well, you can explain it away so many times, but my father was so like particular about his house that like things did not stay broken in our home.
Toilets don't typically flush on their own.
Right. And so he got a plumber out there, he got an electrician out there, like they did whatever they thought they needed to do to fix the situation, and it did absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
And so weird things like that would happen. There was a friend of the family that stayed with us. Her house burnt down. And so she lived with us for just a period of time, and she loved me. And I would ride the bus home from school. And when I would ride the bus home from school, she would always, when I would get off the bus, I would ride the bus home from school, and I would come in through the bottom of the house. I would never we didn't use our front door like normal people.
Me neither.
So we would always come in through the basement, and I would run up the stairs, and she would always be waiting at the top of the stairs for me and to open the door, and she would greet me with a hug. And
no.
I know, it was very, very sweet.
Very
And the
sweet.
bad part is I don't remember this woman's name, and I feel awful for that. But she got to the point where eventually she started raising question if I was messing or, goofing off or playing tricks on her, because she would hear me come into the house, and she would hear me run up the stairs, and she would be waiting there for me to open the door, and then nothing would happen. And then she would open the door, and nothing was there.
You weren't there.
I wasn't there. I was
weren't
still on the
there.
bus. And so she, this happened several times. And so then it got to the point where she and I both had a situation on several different occasions where we would hear a ball.
Oh, hell.
And we would open the basement door, and a ball would roll across.
Oh, no.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
thank you.
So it was all kinds of fun things. And so it's like once
You
that
didn't tell me about the ball.
once that started happening, we can't really explain that away.
No.
And it was one of those old balls that looked like a circus ball. Like it was the blue and yellow striped one and the stars on the end.
That's exactly what I was picturing.
Yes, it was that ball. And so it was very, very odd. And so just to progress, that's kind of the stuff that would happen in the house. So it wasn't anything that was like ever threatening, like eerie for sure, but like not really threatening.
Right.
And then you would always kind of feel like you were being watched or, things like that. Like I was always really scared to take showers growing up because I always felt like somebody was watching me. So I would have to constantly like peek out the shower. And things like that. And then I had another family member who had an experience where they had a young girl. They had a dream, and it was a young girl that came and sat down on the side of her bed, and they said everything's going to be okay.
Right.
And they pictured this girl in a white dress, like an old white dress. And that had like, what is that, like a lapel or something?
Like an apron front type.
Like an
I don't know
apron
what
front,
it's
yeah.
called.
Like
But
the bib front type thing.
yes.
And it was very
school.
lacy with the lace eyelets and all
like
that.
those pictures I shared from that would look like in the window at the Crescent
Something
Hotel.
very similar to the Crescent Hotel, yes.
But the white dress instead of the black matron.
Yes, she
or
had the
maid.
black, like, buckle Mary Jane shoes,
Why
but
is
the
it
ones that
always
would...
a white dress?
I can't figure it out. I don't know. And I'm like, I don't know if it makes it more peaceful or, like, more
No.
creepy.
I've seen the commercials for the ring. That's not peaceful.
Valid. Yeah, yes.
I've never
and
watched
The Shining. It was the Shining dress. The twins from The Shining.
Girl,
Yes,
I don't
there
watch
you go.
scary movies because I have very...
That's true. We've talked about that too. Well, anybody that listens will get it. So maybe.
Well, I know what you're talking about because I've seen the commercials.
Yes, you've
and
seen
I'm
the
like,
commercials. And you're like, no, thank you.
No, thank you. I don't need the whole stuff to...
And she had dark hair, kind of like in a bob, like, little bob. And so fast forward, I'm an animal lover, and everybody in my family knew that. And I had a cat who went inside outside.
Right.
And I had a family member scream to me, Jenny, you've got to come out here. Belle, who was my cat at the time, was attacking a bird.
Oh, no.
And I run outside, and it was a mourning dove.
Oh, no.
The mourning dove had one wing, but there was no blood. There was no, like, it was very odd. It's very odd.
They don't bleed a lot, though.
No.
They're cold-blooded.
But they usually bleed out quickly.
Yeah, they
And
do.
so, like, the fact that this bird had gotten a wing ripped off, and then, like, but there was no blood. And I'm like, what is going on? So, of course, I was like, can I keep it? My dad was like, sure, because he thought the bird was going to die in 3 days. The bird lived for 8 years.
What?
So, yes. And so I said that I wanted to name the bird Lily. I have no idea where I got the name.
I have a cat named Lily.
You do have a cat named Lily. I know. I've thought about this.
Yep.
And so, so I took the bird in. It was my little dove, and she was great. And she would fly around in circles because she couldn't fly in a straight line.
She was a NASCAR dove.
She was a NASCAR
Only
dove.
left-hand
Only
turns.
left-hand turns.
Oh, bless her.
But she was fabulous. She was so great. She was great. She was sweet as could be. So then there was that, and then all while this weird, strange stuff is happening, and my mom had gone to when one of my relatives had passed away, had went to their house and gotten some antique pictures and things like that. Well, she hung up these antique pictures in their bedroom, which was at the very end of this hallway that used to always give us issues.
Nope.
And I was walking down.
I don't like antique stores.
We've taught, yes. And she was obsessed with antiques. Like, there were so many antique pictures of past family members, like, hanging all in my house.
Past.
Furniture, all this stuff. And so I got curious about this picture, and I went to my grandmother, and I was like, who is this girl? Like, for some reason, I just felt like when I would see this picture at the end of the hallway, it was a man and it was a young girl. And I would see this picture, and it was just like, I felt like she was...
You were drawn to it.
Like, talking to me.
Yeah.
But, like, she was looking at me through this picture.
Mm-mm.
So I asked my grandmother, I was like, who is that? And she was like, oh, that's my great, 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 something great aunt. Like, I don't know how many greats to be exact, but a lot of greats.
Twice removed.
And... Yeah, and she was like, and I was like, what was her name? She was like, oh, her name was Lily. And I said, do what?
Excuse me. So is my dove.
And so then the family member then comes or my grandmother, before the other family member comes into play, my grandmother and I were talking, and she was like, she got hit by a train.
Oh.
And I said, what happened?
I needed a warning for this episode.
Maybe. Her foot got stuck in the train.
Oh.
Or in the track.
Yeah.
And it took her foot off.
Oh, jeez.
It took a limb off.
Like a wing.
Like a wing.
Oh, my gosh.
And
Only
I'm
turn
sitting
left.
here thinking, oh, my
Left hand Lily.
Left hand Lily.
Oh, God, don't haunt me. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
Lily's
sorry.
sweet. Lily's sweet.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just messing.
Lily's good. Lily's good.
I'll buy you a shoe.
So it was very... She only needs one.
Okay.
So I was like, oh my gosh, like what's like, what in the world? So then the family member that had the weird dream comes over and stops dead in her tracks. And she's like, who is that girl?
The family member that
The family
you would
member that
meet
had the
at the
dream.
top of the stairs? Or?
No, the family member that had the dream of the girl sitting on the bed.
Oh.
She comes to the house and she was like, who the hell is that? And I was like, oh, let me tell you, I just found out. That's my great, I don't know, like you said, twice removed. I don't know, Lily. And she was like, I gotta go.
Oh. Where are you going?
Come to find out, it was the girl in her dream.
That she was seeing.
Yes. And so at that point, I had to do more research. I had
Right.
to look into it. And I had to, like, read stories, try to find other pictures. Come to find out, Lily was a prankster.
Of course she was.
In her life. And that she was a wild hellion of a little girl that would go, and she was adventurous, and she would trick people, and she would like to sneak up on people and all this other stuff. And so I was like, oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. Like, oh my.
Sneaking up on somebody
Sneaking
up
up
the stairs.
on somebody, yes. And so as I got older and I grew up in the house, like, eventually you start, like you and I have talked about seeing shadows. We've talked about, things like that. And eventually you would, you start seeing the shadows, and you start seeing, and so you would start seeing, shadows, and they would stand about 4 feet tall. And you just kind of, like, I got to the point where I never felt threatened. I never felt like I was in danger. And it kind of got to the point where I would come in every day and just say, hey, Lily.
Yep.
And I would start talking to her, but it never stopped as long as I lived in that house. It never stopped.
Yeah, that's how I was when I saw my grandfather when I was in my early 20s. It was a shadow. I didn't see him. I saw his shape and his shadow, and not threatened, instantly at ease. Yeah. And as soon as I stopped crying, because I was going through a really bad divorce and a very abusive situation, after I calmed down, he disappeared, and I was never threatened, unlike the issues of the shadows I've seen in this house. Different kind of shadow. Don't like those.
No,
thank you.
I'm okay with the playful. Like, I'm okay. Like, I can play tricks. I sneak up on my kids and try to scare them all the time. Like, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I used to scare our male coworker all the time. I would wait behind the wall and jump out at him, and he about threw his wallet at my head once. Did he tell you about that?
Nope, but I'm going to have to try it.
You'll get him. He's easily scared.
That's great. I love it.
So that happened middle school.
Let's see what I've got. I've got the story of my dad.
Yes.
In the apartment.
Your dad has passed away.
My dad has since passed. And this was actually the most recent story. And he was single and lived.
You were very close to your dad.
I was close to my dad. Yes. My dad was somewhat of a hermit. And
I understand.
He was a truck driver all of his life.
Introvert.
And when he retired, I was like, Dad, you live your best life. Like, you do what you want to do.
That's right.
And so I kind of hung out with him and talked to him on his terms. And, just because he had done so much traveling and he had worked so hard for our family, and, he had been through it. And so I kind of just was there for him on his terms and what he wanted and what he needed. But I was definitely a daddy's girl. And when he passed away, my sister, she cleaned out his apartment.
Right.
They got everything, like, as far as the tangible things, the furniture, all of that.
The belongings.
His belongings. She cleaned that out. He passed in the summer, so she had the time off and was available, and so graciously offered, because I can't imagine how hard that would have been. And then she asked me if I would clean it.
Right.
And I was in there cleaning, and it was just a 1-bedroom apartment. So it was a bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, and living room. And then there was like a little like nook office area.
Right.
And I was cleaning, and it got very, very late. And I just kind of had this moment of like heartbreak, and just, it was awful. And I was like, I'm the one that is washing my dad's DNA away from this earth.
No.
And like, this is it. Like, this is really, really hard. And so I was just, very much just kind of in my head and in my emotions, and just trying to push through. because like I said, my sister had done pretty much everything, and this was like my one way that I was like, okay, I can do this.
Right.
I was in his bathroom, and his bathroom was in like the back hall. Like there was this little small hallway. There was this little back bathroom, no windows, no
typical apartment bathroom.
Typical apartment bathroom.
Right.
And I was leaned over cleaning the toilet, or not the toilet, the tub, and I was just talking to him. And I was, Daddy, I'm sorry. I wish I was there more for you. I wish, and I was just talking to him. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, this huge black shadow came over the top of, like, the back of me as I was leaned over in this tub. And it was this breeze that just blew past me.
Right.
And I was terrified.
Oh, absolutely.
I was absolutely terrified. And I remember my heart jumped out of my chest, and I just took this huge gasp of air, and I ran into the living room and just started spinning around.
Literally
and
spinning.
Literally spinning. I was literally spinning around.
I'm going to try it.
Yes. And I was terrified. And I was just like, I called out to him, and I was like, Dad, I need you. I need you. I'm scared, and I need you. And I don't know if that was you. And if it was you, then I want you to stay here, and I don't want you to leave me, but please don't do that to me again. And I was trying to cut on lights, and I was waiting for cars to drive by, because at that point I was in the living room where there were windows. And I was trying to look in to see if there was any possible logical way to explain this away. And my dad would always, he was always doing stuff like that, and like sneaking up on people, and, maybe that's where I get it from. And
I was about to say, sounds familiar.
Yes, and he had this hideous Halloween mask, which I told my sister.
Sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm. Told my sister, I was like, I want this mask. And she was like, do what? And I was like, this mask has a history. Like, you have no idea. And so I have one of my dad's favorite Halloween masks. And, and so I don't know. I felt, but after the initial fear went away, and I was literally spinning around in the living room, and I realized that I couldn't explain it away.
Right.
It was this overwhelming peace that just kind of blanketed the whole entire apartment.
Right.
And I knew, like, okay, Dad, like, this is you.
He, like, pranked you and then realized he scared you.
Yes.
And then comforted you.
Yes.
Yeah,
and so I had great
precious.
conversations with him the whole rest of the time I was there. And I told my sister about it. And my sister had, she had shared something somewhat similar while she was there.
Really?
Which was very ironic, because she was like, Jenny, I haven't told anybody because I didn't like.
You feel crazy.
Yes, but especially when you're in such an emotional state, because we found my father. It was not, he wasn't ill. It was.
You found him?
I did not find him. He was actually supposed to go for a haircut, and my aunt was going to watch his dog because that was his baby, and he did not leave her by herself, and so. It was a haircut or a doctor's appointment one, and he never dropped the dog off. And so we started questioning, and we, at that point had called the apartment and the police and things like that. And so when they had went in,
welfare check.
He had passed away. Yes.
Oh no.
And so I don't know. It's I don't have any signs now necessarily to say that he's around.
That's not true. Oh, I'm going to get her.
I'm explaining it away.
Second week you worked with me, and I told you about my dimes.
Yes.
What did you find?
It wasn't a dime. What did I find? A penny?
I thought it was a dime. It might have been a penny, but I thought it was a dime. You went to lunch with your husband.
You did. It was a penny. You told me that I was going to find a coin because I was struggling. Oh my gosh, Ashley. Really?
Yep, I got you.
Daniel said earlier that he was a skeptical believer or something like that. And I like to tell Ashley like I'm totally a believer, but
we're healthy skeptics.
I like to pretend that I'm a skeptic.
She gets on me all the time. She's like, stop explaining the hanger away.
I do. But yes, you are right. You told me you're going to find a coin today because I was going through some emotional stuff.
I said, you're going to find a coin from your dad.
Yes. And you said your dad's going to be here and he's going to show you. Yes.
Yep.
I do remember that.
Yep. That was that first week because she had left one job career and came into a completely different. I mean, she had been in the business world before, but it was different than what she had been in. And, you know, it was that whole.
It's terrifying.
It is terrifying. It's change. And she was having some self-doubt. And I was like, you're going to find a coin from your father today. And then when she did, I said, that's his way of telling you you are doing the right thing.
Yes.
He's got you.
He was proud of me. He was proud of me. But I also tend to like just hear his voice.
Good.
And just kind of like, it's these randoms like, hey, call your dad. And sometimes I go to pick up my phone and I'm like, oh. But then sometimes I'm like, oh, call your dad. Hey, Dad, what's up? Like, I can talk to you anytime.
You can talk to him anytime you want.
So yeah,
he hears you.
So that was a terrifying, emotional, yet overwhelmingly peaceful and calming short story.
Yeah,
for sure.
I like that story.
Yeah,
it's always nice when you have a really comforting story with somebody you're close with that you've lost.
Yes.
You know, it's nice because it's like, okay, they're okay.
It is.
And I'm okay.
It is. Like, they don't all have to be
scary,
creepy and eerie and
no.
You know, they don't like, you know,
footsteps.
Yeah, they don't have to be Wayne. God, Wayne.
Simmer down, Wayne.
Simmer down,
Simmer down with your footsteps over my bedroom.
Jeez, people gotta sleep.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't have a job you gotta go to anymore.
Yeah, he sure does not got a job. He's a moocher.
He is.
He's mooching.
He's mooching.
I said, you know what? Stay up there. I hate that room.
He's mooching.
I hate that room.
I hate that room.
It feels weird.
Very, very weird.
Very weird.
It's odd.
It's heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy. It is heavy.
See, I feel very validated. Thank you very much.
I know. I'm glad I could do that for you.
Thank you.
And then I think, my other story, I don't know how much we have time. It's not so much, I don't know that it's necessarily like ghost. It's not about ghosties.
Let's hear it.
This one's eerie.
I'm okay with eerie. I like some of the eerie ones. I have some eerie ones. You know, we've talked about it.
All right. This one needs a disclaimer though.
Okay, have I heard this one? I don't think I've heard this one.
You've heard a little bit.
Okay, disclaimer. What's the disclaimer?
Suicide.
Okay, trigger warning, suicide.
Trigger warning, suicide. Possible demonic possession theory.
Oh, this is the X.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Okay, hold up. Before we go into this, we are covering ourselves in love and light, and my listeners with love and light, and only love and light here. And that's the only thing that can connect with us at any time. And I just gave myself chill bumps because I don't like the dark stuff, but I'm fascinated.
Yeah.
But it scares the shit out of me.
This one's scary. So
So listen with caution, folks.
Yes. This was, I guess 10, 11, 12 years ago. How old was I 12 years ago?
I have a feeling it was 13 for some reason.
13. I feel like 13, yeah. Maybe 12, 13 years ago.
So we're 39, so 26?
Something like that. Yeah, something. Yeah, had to be something like that. And so I was seeing this guy, and he did have some mental issues.
Right.
You know, there were definitely some mental issues there. But at that time, I was very young and naive and was in the business of trying to save people. And
it's a bad business.
It's a bad idea.
Don't try to save anybody.
Don't do it. Don't
save yourself.
Save yourself. Yes.
Be your own hero.
And so he had mentioned to me, and by the way, I do not say his name.
No, we do not say his name. I don't even know his name.
Yes, I do not say his name.
Did I ever meet him?
Nope.
I don't think I did.
Nope.
Okay.
He had mentioned he had a very traumatic childhood. He had a very, very traumatic childhood. And to the point where he had mentioned a story that he was cut and like his blood was offered as a sacrifice.
Excuse me?
Yes, I don't know if this is true. It was something to do with a church that was up north, and they were apparently actually worshiping the devil or something.
Thank you.
Yes. And so, so it was very strange, very odd. And he would always struggle with his beliefs, his personal beliefs.
Right.
And so he had mentioned to me that he had the mental issues, and he had mentioned to me that he had the mental issues. But again, I was in the business of saving everyone, so
You could fix
it
him.
was good. I could fix him, and I could
Right.
make him better, because all he needed was love.
That's all he needed.
Yes.
All you need is
And
love.
that's it. That's it.
Ba, ba,
And
ba, ba, ba.
so as our relationship progressed, I found out that he was a cutter.
Oh, geez.
And
That's
the
sad,
story,
but
it's very sad. But the story went that he had to cut himself because he would have to offer his blood to these entities that
What?
he would claim that would come after him. Yes.
girl, you couldn't fix that one. You needed
I
an
know.
exorcism.
I'm telling you.
Oh,
And so there were
Lord.
several instances where I would find him, and he would have very deep lacerations, and I would have to get him to the emergency room, and I would have to, all of these things. And there was, but I noticed that it progressively started getting worse.
What?
And at this point, I was almost afraid to leave, but then I was afraid to leave him because I was a caring person, and I didn't want him to hurt himself.
Oh,
And
yeah. I've been there.
But then I was also scared for me too.
Yeah, he's
And
psycho.
Yes.
You're safer with him than you are without him, because if you left him, then he would hurt you. I lived that situation. I understand.
That was my fear. But then there was also a fear that he was so gentle that, because as a human being, he really was gentle. He never wanted to hurt anyone else. It was always himself.
Yeah, right.
And so it was a very
Sorry.
sad situation. No, that's okay. So it was a very sad situation. And, but there were a couple of occurrences. One in particular, we were driving down the road, and, it would always kind of start out the same, where he would almost go into other personalities. And psychiatrists would say that it was another personality. Like, they would diagnose him.
You know it's multiple personality day.
Is it really?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, what are the chances?
Oh, my gosh.
So we would talk about, how he didn't feel like he had multiple personality disorder, but psychiatrists would say it did. He had names for these individuals, these different things that he would say, but he would tell me, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's my mind. I don't know if it's, what happened to me as a child. Like, I don't know.
Sounds more schizophrenic.
A little bit. Well, yeah. And so, however,
Not here to diagnose anybody.
and
but
I thought that. And then this thing started happening where he would almost transition into these other quote unquote personalities. And it would start with his teeth gritting and grinding. But it would be so loud
Oh, no.
that I'm like, how are your teeth not breaking?
Was he on medication by any chance?
He was medicated.
Because sometimes medication will make you grit your teeth.
I have a medication that I have
I do
taken
too.
that has made me do that.
I do too. My poor teeth are killing me.
It's awful.
It is.
But it was so loud. Like, it was so bad. And I would tell him, I love you. You're loved. You are a loved human being. You are a loved individual.
He was almost like snarling at you.
And yes. And so he would literally like lash out at me if I spoke of love. And then I would pray on him, and he would do the same thing. The gritting and the grinding would get louder and louder and louder. Mm-mm. And I remember one instance, we went into a business that he worked at, and I was not going, he had gotten out of the car and was going to go inside the business, and he was in this altered state.
Hey.
And he came up to my window, and I barely cracked the window because I was afraid, and he snarled at me, and immediately the only thing I could think of was, God loves you. Don't do this. Like, it was just coming out of me, and I started praying. And he started screaming at the window. He goes inside the business and looks out at me through the door, and I'm still in my car, and I'm looking out the windshield, and he's looking at me through the door of the business, and he like very like smart alecky, just like, look what I'm gonna do, locks the door.
What?
And he put his face up to the door and he breathed on the door, and the whole entire door fogged up. Like the whole door.
What kind of business were you at? Was it like a gas station?
No, it was a business that he worked at, and they could come and go as they pleased, and the business was locked. It was a tattoo shop. And the whole entire thing just fogged up.
Ah, no.
And it was just a normal glass door, like a business door. And he just stood there, and his face changed. Like, I physically saw it with my own eyes. Like, his face changed. And I'm like, this is not him. This is not who this is. This is not this human being. He was not responding to me. He was not answering to me. He was snarling at me. He was screaming at me, but not words. Like he was not speaking. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. So
that is a whole lot of nope.
Yep. So me being really stupid. Like, I was really stupid to begin, but me being really stupid.
You didn't throw that car in reverse, did you?
I didn't throw that car in reverse. I threw that car in park, and I cut the car off and went inside.
Jenny.
Yes.
You went inside. The door was locked.
I did. Well, I had a key. As well.
Of course you did. She said, I'm coming in, big guy.
Yeah. And so
I'm coming to save you with my
terrified.
love and prayer.
And to make things worse, it was like a movie too, because to make things worse, they had red LEDs on the inside. And so the whole, like the lights were off, and there was really loud music playing, and there was like red LEDs lit up everywhere. So it was literally like something you would see in a movie.
Walking into hell.
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Wonderful.
And so I go through the back door, and made it through the front, went through the back door, and I'm just saying his name, and I'm, trying to find him. And I go into the back, and he is laid down, and he has cut himself. And I shake him, and that was one of the first trips to the emergency room, because he was like, I'm fine now. I'm fine. They're gone. They're not going to hurt you. They're not going to hurt you. He was like, this is what I have to do.
And you didn't run away?
No, I got him to the emergency room. But then he ended up escaping, and he left the emergency room.
Okay, that sounds like a whole nother episode. It'd be a part 2.
But,
Good Lord.
But yeah, so there were instances like that too. And later on, I had talked to a psychiatrist friend of mine and fellow coworker at one point. And I had talked to 2 of them actually. And one of them said, "Oh, that's schizophrenia. That's that's what that is." And like the genetic makeup. And I was like, "But you don't understand. Like I saw his face change.
Yeah, I get
like his
that
face
too.
was different. Like it was long.
Like it morphed.
It was morphed, and it was very elongated.
Like you see in a movie.
And it was yes. And I was like, "But I'm not crazy. Like I know what I saw." And so I had one psychiatrist tell me, "Oh, that's schizophrenia. If you do, any type of imaging on the brain during like a schizophrenic episode, then you can see the changes." And they actually believe that schizophrenia has the ability to all but like shapeshift your face. And then I talked to another psychiatrist who was like, he was very spiritual as well as a triple boarded psychiatrist. And he totally believed in the possibility of some type of trauma and, some type of possession. Right. And, he had mentioned how possession usually occurs with people that are on the fence, and they're kind of open to both sides, and they don't know which way they're going to go with their faith or their spirituality. And that, he was like, I have seen it. Mm. So, yeah, it was, it's been an interesting life.
And he did
eventually end his own life because of the same thing. And he had said that he was ending his life because he couldn't battle with the demons anymore. I'm actually the one that had to he attempted once, and I cut him down and called 911, and 911 had come out, and somehow I had gotten out of the house because we did have, obviously, there were sharps and, other weapons in the house, and so they got me out of the house. And when they got me out of the house, he snuck up behind the door and shut the door and locked it. And due to laws, they could not just immediately break the door down, but they eventually were able to barricade the door down or knock the door down. And he had taken his life in the attic beside a mirror.
Oh, God. My house full of mirrors.
Yes. And
we still have all those mirrors.
Oh.
They're in the Christmas room.
Oh, no. Nope. I kept that mirror for a very long time, and I had several people come up to me and tell me that I had a dark
I remember you telling me
entity hanging over me, and it was latched to me, and it thought that it owned me. I felt that his presence pretty much right after his passing. But it wasn't until I really, I started feeling the heaviness of it all really after my son was born. And it was when he aged, got into the toddler years, he would have these moments where he would stare into the corner of rooms, or he would be fearful of a bedroom or sleeping, sleeping somewhere, or he would come running into me and he would say, "Mama, Mama," his little toddler voice, right. Absolutely precious. And he would say, "Bobo." And I said, what? And at first I was like, okay, this is imaginary friend. This is, right. Something like
Bobo
it's
doesn't
just
seem mean or
and
dark.
My child had quite the imagination. He
right.
has, still to this day, has quite the imagination. So he would go to the corner of a room. And at first, I paid it no mind, obviously.
Right.
New mom, was learning things. And so, but I would notice as time would pass, I would see him going to the corner of rooms, and he would just stare into the corner of a room, and he would point and he would say, "Mama, Bobo."
That's not scary at all.
No, not at all. And even to the point where I remember one specific time I was cooking in the kitchen, and I turned to talk to him, and he pointed his finger and said, "Mama, Bobo behind you." Eventually I got curious.
What is
because
Bobo?
It was almost daily. And I said, "Who is Bobo?"
Right.
And he would say, "White eyes."
Mm.
And
what the heck is white eyes, yo?
Mm-hmm. And my past ex, he was eccentric, and he had his own style.
Did he wear white contacts?
He wore white contacts.
Oh.
Yes. He wore the costume contacts. And
where did you meet this person?
Through the tattoo shop.
Oh, okay.
Get a tattoo, fall in love, or think you fall in love, or want to save people with love, as you say.
Save them with my love.
Save them with my love.
And your white contacts.
So that was terrifying. Well,
so you know exactly when he said white eyes.
And it was even to the point, it would go as far as if my son and I would go out and during Halloween, and he would see the Scream mask or something and see the different mask. He would say, "Bobo, white, Bobo, white." And so he knew.
That's scary.
He, and in my head, I'm sitting here trying to explain it all away. And just, there was always this part of me that wanted, should I show him a picture? Should I? And I never did. And so that was when I finally decided that, I had done some research and was like, okay, this stuff's got to go.
I got to get rid of this.
My son is seeing you, and he had never, keep in mind, my son had never seen a picture of this individual. He had no idea that he even existed.
Or wore white contacts.
Or wore white contacts. Right. Or would, dress up and paint his face white for Halloween or, whatever. He had this staple Halloween costume and things like that. And it was a white face. And he never knew any of that. I got rid of the mirror.
Good. That's what I was going to ask.
And
what'd you do with it? Did you donate that? Did you donate that to the Goodwill?
I donated the mirror.
Oh my God.
But
you donated
I felt guilty. I felt extremely
somebody
guilty.
went and bought that for $9.99 and now they got something in their house.
I went and bought the mirror and then destroyed it.
Jenny, did you pay $9.99 for that mirror?
No, I think I paid like $5.
Okay, good. You didn't overpay.
No. But I mean, at the same time, I think I probably would have paid $25 for it just because I couldn't.
You couldn't do that to
somebody. I couldn't do that to somebody else.
You were such a sweetheart.
I couldn't do it.
Oh, my gosh.
I couldn't do it because when the mirror left, everything else left with it.
You donated the mirror and then you bought.
I donated the cursed mirror, bought the cursed mirror, and then destroyed the cursed mirror.
How did you destroy it? I'm being nosy. Do I want to know?
No. I mean, it was just like a mirror with like a wood frame mirror on it.
I was taking that to the dump.
Yeah. And well, I broke the frame off of it because I was like, I feel like I needed to destroy a part of it. And so, but then I didn't want to break the mirror.
Right, because you're probably still superstitious.
A little bit.
Me too. Me too.
I'm not, what's the really bad joke? I'm not superstitious. I'm a little stitious.
Exactly. Same.
Yeah. So.
And I'm super spiritual and I believe that there's a ghost living in my house, but so, I don't believe. I'm just a little suspicious.
Yes, I'm just a little suspicious. So I took the mirror and I did take it to the dump and I leaned it up against the dumpster because I didn't want to break it.
You know somebody took that mirror.
They may have, but you know what? At that point,
you tried.
I tried.
I did all that I could. Somebody took that mirror, and they have something going on in their house.
And so I had ashes, and I sat, and I had things like that in the house for a while, and I decided to. And I decided to part with those.
Did you donate those too?
Yeah.
Did you really?
No.
About to say, you did what?
I made a ceramic pot with it. No.
And you left it in the Goodwill parking lot.
I made sand art. No, it was no, I decided to try to put him at peace the best that I could, and so I
dumped him in the ocean.
I put his ashes where I felt he would like them. So yeah.
You can tell me later.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to let her live that down and be like, where is he?
Where'd
you put him?
We'll go off the record with that one.
We're going to go off the record and you're going to tell me where you put that bitch.
I will.
I'm just telling you, if I have nightmares tonight, if he decides to come and visit me.
No.
He better not.
No.
Love and light, and I got some black stone or whatever it's called. What's it called? The obscene. I'm probably sounding like an idiot. I don't know. Black rock. That it's supposed to block negative energy.
Those crystal girls?
I got one of them crystals in my purse. And I love my crystals now. I love them. Yes. And I got me some sage spray from Arkansas. And I love this stuff too. And even if it doesn't do anything, it smells really good. Yeah. So I spray that whenever I feel a little bit
Yeah.
I sprayed it before you got here.
Good.
And I'm going to have to spray it again because my ears, while you were talking earlier, started that wah, wah, wah. Wah. Yep.
And from what from the research that I've done after I destroyed and got rid of everything and moved everything out, I did donate everything, all decorations, all decor, home decor, everything. I got rid of everything. Bed. I don't own any piece of the same furniture.
Good.
At all.
We still have the Bible. She's just staring at me.
Ashley.
I could not.
I couldn't destroy a Bible.
As a Christian woman, I know, I've talked to some people and they're like being Christian and also being fascinated by this. You have that kind of like split of being torn. And as a Christian woman, I could not destroy a Bible. I might believe in this stuff, but I love me some Jesus, and I could not do anything to a Bible. Yes. And so Daniel took possession of it. He has put it somewhere, and he's also Christian, so I know he can't destroy it either, but it is in his workshop somewhere. He has put it up, and I have not seen it move around the house since he's taken it.
Yeah. I couldn't have done that.
No, I couldn't throw it away. I couldn't burn it. I couldn't. But I also read if you destroy something, it has potential to come back at you.
Yes.
And because of what I was experiencing at the time, if you've listened to my other episodes, you know that it's gotten dark in my house a few times. I knew that if I did that, I just had that overwhelming feeling that it would come back. So now I just hose this house down with sage and holy water and cuss him out every once in a while, and he backs down.
Holy water and cussing out.
I know it. I am one strange woman. Okay.
I think
I do. I cuss him out. And I tell him exactly where he could go while I spew holy water.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen. You know, I did that same thing. And when I was told that this monkey was on my back, for lack of a better words, it was like, you do not own me. You have to go.
You've got to go.
I do not want you. I do not want you around me. I do not want your energy.
Yep.
I don't, just, you've got to go.
Yep.
And once I got rid of the stuff and I put him at rest, I have felt very peaceful at least from that.
Yeah. I think it's going to take me selling this house to.
Yeah. I think he's
here.
Just part of it.
Yeah, he is.
Because what was the story that you told me? Oh, I'm going to call you out because I don't think you've mentioned this in a podcast.
I don't know.
When you Googled, located something, or you what was it that you did? And he was, yes.
He didn't own this house, but it still says that he still lives here.
Yes.
So he didn't own this house. I found the true owner of this house, and it is in his family, but it was not in his name. Because we did one of those little truth finder websites and we found out. And then it said current, because it had his death date. But when it said his residence, it was my address. And it said through, and it said February 6th, 2024. And that was the date we were looking at it. And I screenshot it and sent it to Jenny. And I was like, I told you this sumbitch is still in my house. He still lives here. It's still on Truth Finder. He's still here.
Yep.
So I've told him multiple times while spewing holy water and sage water, you can either behave and stop being a jerk.
Yeah.
And stop messing with me or get out. Those are your only two options. This is my house.
Yeah.
This is my house. My kids live here. He don't mess with the kids anymore. Usually he doesn't even move around when they're here. Last night, I think it's because you were coming. I had told Daniel that Jenny was coming over to record with me, and I was so excited. And everything's been really quiet. And then all of a sudden, footsteps this morning. But he usually is pretty active between 4 and 5 in the morning. I'm thinking that's usually about the time he used to wake up and get ready for the day because he was a bodybuilder. So he probably woke up early, worked out.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And maybe have some coffee or something. And so usually when I do hear the footsteps, it's either between 8 and 9 o'clock at night or 4 and 5 in the morning. So I think he was starting to stir around. I think his energy, he knew you were coming in. Like I said, when we get together, our energies do something really wonky.
Yep.
And I have a feeling I'm going to have a nightmare tonight, but that's okay.
No, you're not.
I had a really
rough
dream last night. It wasn't a nightmare, but I was trying to murder my husband in my dream. But I was so mad at him because I had brand new floors and he took a hoe to them and he was trying to pull them up. And I started throwing glass at him. And then he got naked in my dream.
What?
And I guess he thought if he was naked, I wouldn't throw glass at him. And I just started chucking it harder. Don't play with me. I'm a Puerto Rican woman. I will cut you.
You can't. Don't play games.
Don't play with me.
Don't play games. Don't mess around and find out.
Play stupid games. You win stupid prizes. That is our motto at work.
That's also what makes you a good wife, though, is the fact, this is what I tell my children and my husband. I'm like, I'm a good mother and I'm a good wife because I do not allow the intrusive thoughts to take over.
Exactly.
And you guys are all living and I still love
you.
you.
You're welcome, everybody in this house. You're welcome that I don't throw glass at your naked body.
Let's take into consideration, what if I caved? What if I gave in to the intrusive thoughts?
Yeah. What if your husband was taking a hoe to your brand new floors? What would you do? You would throw a glass face at him too. Mm-hmm. What are you doing?
At the bare minimum.
Bare minimum.
I still feel like you were being very forgiving and gracious.
I was very aggressive in that dream, though. Note, if you kind of zoned out and you're zoning back in, it was a dream. I did not attack him. He was not naked, and I was not throwing glass at him.
It's not real life.
It was not. It was a dream. But man, I woke up madder than hell at him. I went straight into that room and woke him up. I said, "You're an asshole in my dream."
Yes.
And he goes, "You realize," he had his eyes closed. "You realize dream me and your dream is not me, right?" And I went, "It surely feels like you left your body and went into my dream and you're a jerk in my dream."
And you guys couldn't see it, but Ashley was totally sitting here with her eyes closed, impersonating Daniel, sleeping and talking to her while sleeping at the same time.
He didn't even open his eyes.
It was great.
We've been together going on 6 years. He is very used to my shenanigans.
Yes. But I will say, as far as the energy in this house, I know, in my last story, it was there was some creepy environments. And so a lot of people could say like, oh, it was that, or oh, it was this, or, whatever. But or you were already scared. Are you sure you saw what you saw? You know, and it's, I will stand firm and would put money on it right now that I saw what I saw, because I was so making sure that I was so clear-headed to be able to responsibly handle this situation. And by responsibly, I mean be a complete idiot and go inside the building.
Crazy pants.
But
I would have thrown that car in reverse and been like, deuces.
I'm like the dumb blonde on horror movies that runs
Don't
towards
go
the problem.
in the building. Don't go. You go out. Oh, my
I'm the one you guys are yelling at in the movie theater.
What are you doing?
But
I would have. I'm glad we weren't talking then, because I would have been like, "What were you thinking?"
You would have definitely probably had a few words for me. But in this house,
I still do.
It's not like that.
In my house,
Yes, in this house, it is very welcoming. It is very bright. It is cozy and comfortable, and there's nothing threatening about it. It's beautifully decorated. You're welcome. And it's very comfortable. Like I'm perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. And so there's nothing that's going to give you the thought of like heebie-jeebies in here until you walk into those two spaces.
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right,
yeah,
nope.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of nope up there.
It's yeah.
Act right or get out.
Yeah. And so
it's a heaviness up there that I can't explain, but it's not in my daughter's room. It is only in my other daughter's room and the guest room. It is a very almost palpable change in energy from space to space. And I don't like going up there. Yes. And he doesn't like me.
It's aggressive. Well, apparently he doesn't like me either.
No. Well, we're a lot alike.
Yeah, that's true.
He's like, shit, there's two of them.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, God. There's another one.
They're both in here.
Push. Get out, get out, get out.
Yeah.
But, that's whatever. He'll get out or get over it.
You got to let it go.
That's right. Let it go.
Yeah. We could try putting him in the freezer.
I bet he would burst out.
I think he would.
He was a big man.
He was a bodybuilder.
He was a bodybuilder. He was a big man.
He would just bench the fridge.
Yep. I rather him just stay in his little room and throw his little temper tantrum up there with his little pouty lip out and be like, I don't like women.
Yeah.
Stay up there and not like women. I don't care.
Oh, yeah, because both of us up there, especially with like what we feel, oh, yeah, I'm sure he was not happy.
No, he didn't. No, because last time I stayed up there, it was an instant feeling when I walked in there. But like today, it was like double, like, nope, y'all aren't allowed in here. Yeah. Yes, I am. This is my house.
Yeah, it was such a strange feeling, too.
Yep.
Because like I said, you and I have both talked about how we feel about things. And, like, you can walk through, like, you have to go to a funeral and you have to walk through a graveyard. Or, you just walk, like, sometimes for me, it's like walking through the park and you walk by somebody and you just feel like, look back at that person like, something's off.
Yep, something's off about you.
And so, or, like, I hike a lot, so I
hopefully not alone, because I will yell at you.
I have hiked alone but I had my dog. I mean, granted, it was a 30-pound weenie dog.
Oh my God,
he was ferocious.
I bet he was. He was probably more ferocious than my pit bull over here.
He went after a pit bull for
napping.
Me once.
Look at him.
He did. Because
look at this baby. Love.
Yes, this
90
literally
pound
rolled
creature
on the floor with these dogs while I've been here.
Yes, she has.
Every time Ashley walked away, she would come back and I'm like in the floor with the dogs. But yeah, it's just weird. Like you feel the energy and you feel different energies, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not, and sometimes it's scary and sometimes it's playful. Mm-hmm. And
not up there. It's not
up there. No, up there. It's he did not like it. And Ashley and I have been told at work too, like you and I have been told at work that like when we're together, we are a presence. Like we are.
They think I've heard that we look like siblings.
Yes. We look related.
We do look related. We don't look identical, but we look related.
Yes. There is a connection somewhere, people say. But then also I think just like our energies, we're both pretty strong and fierce. And so when we present together, it's multiple people are like, oh gosh.
Oh Lord, they're here.
Yeah. And so maybe Wayne felt that too. And that's why, because I felt like it was
instant.
It was instant and it was aggressive.
Well, he knew you were coming. He started this morning. I told you.
Yeah. Yeah. Valid point.
Yep. Well, I'm really glad you came over. I know we've been trying to do this since October, so I'm really glad we finally, her son plays baseball, my daughter plays softball, and my other daughter plays volleyball, and my other son plays baseball, and then her other children are in band and do wrestling. So it's really, yes, it's very hard to coordinate our schedules. So I'm really glad you got to come.
Me too. I'm stoked.
Yes, me too. Stoked. Well, we're going to wrap it up here. And I just, again, thank you. And I want to thank everybody for listening. If you are new here and you haven't, please like and follow the show. It really does help. And like I said, I'm trying to restart this podcast and get it off the ground. Everybody's been amazing. I have the best listeners, and it's a very small group of you, but just know I love and appreciate everything, every like, every comment, every follow. So if you would, and if you want, if you have the time, you can leave me a review, a very nice one. If you have something mean to say, just send me an email and I will talk to you that way. Don't leave me a mean review, please. But even if you do, the algorithm will lean in my favor. So, you do you, boo. But anyway, thank you for listening. And as always, they'll see you later.